So, all right. So, welcome to our first ever podcast. This is first time dads, diehard fans. My name is
Diehard
Bear,
fans.
and
Nick Prosey.
yeah, I'm with my buddy Nick. Nick, how are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. You, Tim? How's the weather down there today?
Weather's beautiful. It's getting hot.
It is getting hot, isn't it?
It's getting humid. Down
Just
in Maryland, and yeah.
just
What's it
just
like
in
there?
time for it's back and forth. It's nice and warm and goes down to super cold at night, but it'd be perfect for baseball season, but why not play some playoff hockey instead?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely pumped about the playoffs, but yeah, no baseball. That's a big, kind of a big downer. But anyway, so just to let our viewership know, Nick and I are good friends, and we both grew up together, went to middle school and I guess part of high school together.
Yeah.
And Cobourg, Ontario area, just east of Toronto. Or
Diehard.
And now I live in Maryland. So I'm no longer in my home and native land, but Nick is still repping, as you can see,
Yeah.
the T-Dot. So so Nick and I are both we have some things in common. We've always loved getting together, talking about sports, going to Blue Jays games, watching the Leafs, obviously, and now both of us are fathers.
Yes.
We don't. Both of our wives are pregnant. My wife's due date was 5 days ago, and the baby isn't out yet, but hopefully pretty soon. And then Nick, your wife, she's coming up on her 20th week or so, or?
Yeah, 20th week. Should do October 26th. We find out the gender actually in 3 days. Wednesday. This coming Wednesday, we'll find out the gender.
It's exciting, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, yeah, so we just decided, I mean, we've been talking about doing a podcast for how long now?
Oh, a dog's age for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not as long as 67 in the Leafs Stanley Cup drought, but
yeah, it's been a while, and so we've always thought about doing this, and I'm glad we now have the opportunity to do it. It's kind of funny how a quarantine, a pandemic has,
And hey, lack of sports topics bring us together.
Yeah, exactly. It's strange, but anyway, so we wanted just to start this for anybody who might be a father, or might be just starting out in parenthood, or might also have a partner who's pregnant, and just to share some of our wisdom, I guess, some of the things going on.
Yep.
With that, what it's like to be a father during this day and age, and obviously we have a lot of things that we have yet to learn. So anybody watching, if you want to share some of your wisdom as a father, we're always wanting to learn more. It's something that neither of us have ever done before.
No, exactly.
We're inexperienced at this, and we're just kind of trying to glean as much knowledge as possible. But let's just jump right into it. So Nick, my wife, kind of obviously late in her pregnancy, this pandemic kind of happened. You've been dealing with it over the past few months. What's it been like? What are some of the challenges you faced?
Well, I know
both you and Becca.
Well, so we're 20 weeks into pregnancy now. So we were just finding out, as we've been married for going on to a year. This August will be a year we'll be married. So we were trying to start a new family. And so we planned our honeymoon around Zika and the viruses and just your everyday virus everyone lived around. And then we're like, okay, because we wanted to start a family. And then we finally get the news that we're gonna be parents to be, and we're excited, and we set up doctor's appointments, and then bam, this COVID-19 hits, and we're in a pandemic, and it's like, are you kidding me? So one thing led to another, but like now it's like I do all we try to limit the shopping to one person going in and out, which families should anyways.
Yeah.
But going through or just getting through the first trimester, you try to limit, especially her exposure, and then both of us conveniently both working in a hospital, which is not the best situation as well, when new parents to be working in a hospital during this time too.
Yeah, definitely. That kind of adds a whole other wrinkle to it.
Yeah.
Has there been any kind of extra precautions that you guys have had to face as far as working at a hospital and whatnot?
Yeah, it's like a lot of things, like you guys probably, like everyone experienced, but we have to wear daily medical masks every day, depending what floor you work on. And of course, you roll the dice, and I'm on the COVID unit, so that alone, I'm working on the COVID unit with COVID positive patients. But so you have your daily masks, and you take your proper PPE that the hospital supplies. But like daily you have to go get your scrubs from a certain spot, in one spot only. You have to get screened. You're getting screened to get into the hospital. There's no visitors. It's it definitely is not what a hospital's outlet or shell used to look like, for sure. That's for sure. How about yourself? You and Laura, what have you guys had to change or not change because of this COVID stuff and being a expectant parent?
Yeah, well, our life definitely did change quite a bit. We both lost our jobs, first of all, because of the pandemic. So, that was, I think in some ways it's been really good because we've been able to stay home.
Yep.
And it was really good for us anyway that we were able to get on the expanded unemployment insurance that our state did, because normally neither of us would have been able to, just because of the nature of our works. We both work at Christian nonprofits, so normally we wouldn't be able to qualify for that. So with this new different laws passed, we were able to qualify for that. So that's been really good, being able to get a consistent check that way for both of us. And just spent a lot of time at home, and we've been trying to go for walks, taking our dog out and trying to stay healthy. That's really good. And like you said, we've just kind of recently I've been the one going to do the groceries. We actually have to go to a laundromat to do our laundry, so I've been doing that too.
Yep.
Every week. But one of the biggest changes is, with our church. As you know, I'm a youth pastor, so we had to cancel all of our youth groups, and our services were canceled, but we've been able to live stream on Facebook. And then just recently, I think this was our third or fourth Sunday that we've been able to open our doors, and we've been able to do at least 50% capacity in our church. So people have been able to come and do that, but we haven't. We're just trying to play it safe.
Yeah.
Being so close. But that's going to be a challenge too, as we think about whenever our son is born. Do we bring him to church? Where people are going to want to hold him and touch him, be close to him, and stuff like that.
Do the newborn stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a tough thing to navigate. How about like when uh, Becca's been doing her checkups? What have those been like? How have those changed since the pandemic?
Well, the first, oddly enough, I think we only got one in that was without the pandemic, and then the rest have been with the pandemic, but more or less very similar. It's just, I guess, the only thing I can't go. So like,
Right, right.
I guess parents to be and families going in to be their first ultrasound, for example, you'd like, it's an exciting moment for families and partners to see the baby for the first time, or if you're to hear the heartbeat for the first time. And like, I wasn't able to go to that because they were,
Oh,
like all hospitals around the area, were limiting guests and visitors in. So Beck was able to go in and had no troubles with getting in, but I wasn't able to join that. And if there's any checkups, it's usually one person per. But most recently, they've especially here in Ontario, they're trying to get back into phase 2 of reopening up the province. So they're letting more things happening. So like, for example, this Wednesday, I will be able to be there while we find out the gender. So slowly and surely, we're getting back into where I can actually join and be part of this doctor's process and the checkups.
yeah, that's awesome, man. That you're going to be able to be there when you find out the sex, because that's a big
Yeah.
moment, definitely.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were blessed that we were able to have some of those early checkups. I was able to go with Laura,
Yeah.
and do things like hearing the heartbeat, like you said, and being able to do that first sonogram where you're actually able to see the baby and find out the sexes. Yeah, it's a pretty awesome moment. But then recently it's been I haven't even been able to go into the clinic with Laura lately. It's lately just been her,
Right.
which is a bit of a bummer, but also these are also kind of the things we have to deal with nowadays.
That's right.
And yeah, it was interesting. She had another sonogram. She's only had 2
Okay.
so far, but yeah, she just had one like a couple weeks ago, and I also wasn't able to go in for that one, but it was like the quickest thing ever. Like apparently, like the person, did the thing, showed the pictures, checked, made sure the baby was good, the fluid's good, and was just like, okay, see ya, like bye.
Yeah.
But like yeah, she also said like like you couldn't even really take a picture of the baby because the baby's so big at that point. Like there's no space like in the womb to actually like make out his
Right.
ears and stuff. So that was interesting, because I think we were thinking we would be able to get a better view of the baby from that.
Yeah.
But, that's all good. We'll get to be able to see him very soon anyway.
Yeah. Within a couple of days, you'll meet them. You'll meet them in person.
Yeah, man. Hopefully.
It's exciting.
Yeah, definitely. So how about one thing that I know my wife was pretty disappointed and was not able to do live classes. Our
Yeah.
hospital has all these classes you can do normally, and they're all canceled. So what has that been like for you guys? Have you been able to do some things over the internet or videos, or what has that been like?
So we haven't not have been able to do those stuff yet, but it's right. All those mommy and me's and mommy and dad's classes have been canceled to prep for labor, prep for what to expect afterwards in the first couple of days. And you're right. No, we were planning, like, there's a place that runs here in Coburg, Ontario. They have at the hospital. There's a girl that runs it at the hospital, and supposedly it's the best of the best. And my grandma actually volunteers there and helps out there. And she was saying how she'll get us in if it's all said and done. But recently I bought a parent book that I've just waiting to come in. Supposedly a coworker recommended it, and it's really good for the father, and it's also good for the mom. Actually really enjoyed reading it as well in this past relationship too. So
Yeah.
so you guys aren't able, did you guys do any online classes yourselves?
So we were able to find some on YouTube.
Okay.
YouTube to the rescue. So we found actually some really good classes. It's out of the Tucson Medical Center in Tucson, Arizona,
Yep.
and pretty recent videos actually. I think they're like 5 or 6 videos. I think most of them are about an hour long each, maybe. So it's kind of like a lot of information in a short period of time. But man, like just personally, I learned so much from those videos, and I know Laura really found them helpful as well. So that's something you could do if you guys want to check that out. And I could even
I did.
I could even share the links to those if you'd like.
Yeah, that would be much appreciated. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that book I have on order that my coworker recommended for me, it's called The Expectant Father.
Okay.
But it has supposedly it's helped both him and her get through both how to assist your significant other going through this 9 months process and what to expect afterwards, and how to be the best you can be for your partner.
Yeah, that sounds really good. So in those classes, that's something I know I found really helpful, was just figuring out what it's going to be like, once she goes into labor, once the contractions start. And yeah, I think one thing that I always thought, like I'm not sure where I got this idea, probably from like movies or TV shows or whatever, is like, once the water breaks, it's like, we got to get to the hospital like stat, and like,
see, and I still think that,
like, and like driving through like red lights and like, get there before the baby comes. But yeah, through those videos, I learned like it could be several hours, and of course it's not the same for every mother,
right?
But most of the time, even if the water breaks, that doesn't really mean that things are going to all of a sudden start happening really soon. And it's really only once the contractions start to get pretty intense, that's when you really need to, first of all, call ahead, call the midwife or the nurse or whoever, and just hear what they have to say. And then if they say, it's time to come in, then you come in. But that was something that was really, really nice to learn, because it's kind of stressful thinking like, man, we got to get to the hospital before this baby comes out, or I'm going to be the one who
delivering on the side of the road,
your own son. But so that hopefully that won't be the case.
So note to self: the water breaks, don't just jump in the car and go, is what you're saying, depending on the situation. But yes,
it could be a very long while.
No, we're not. This is not medical This is not medical recommendations.
Right? Yeah, we're not. Yeah, definitely go and check out that stuff yourself, and I'll throw the links down below this video to those classes for anybody who's interested. Because I was when we were watching those videos, we were looking at the comments below, and like over and over again, from these parents who are like, this is during the COVID-19 pandemic, and these classes saved me because all of our classes were canceled, right? So,
right.
Like I'm sure just over these past few months, they've gotten probably 10, 20 times the views.
Okay, there we go.
Months. So, yeah. So if your classes are canceled, you can definitely check some of those out on the YouTubes.
The YouTubes. Tim Bayer on the way to save it.
Yes, sir. So, any other stories you have about pregnancy, about during COVID? Any weird cravings? Those are
yeah. What actually? fruit,
Yeah.
which is not not a terrible thing, but the amount of fruit consumed
Oh, it's
is
the same, man.
it's unreal.
Yes.
Like fruit and fruit. I think like morning, breakfast, and dinner. If it was spinach, Popeye would be jealous.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's been the same with Laura, actually. Fruit is like the one thing. So the other day, and we were joking about this because she hasn't really had a whole lot of, of those weird cravings that you often hear where, people have, like these fathers who have to go and pick up like
Yeah,
pickles and mustard at like 3 a.m.
yeah.
For their wife. But we only really had one kind of moment that it was I drove her to one of her checkups the other day. She's like, I just really want like some watermelon. Like, we just need to get some watermelon. So so I was like, all right, I'll pick up a watermelon for you. So we stopped at
Yeah.
Walmart, and I got her a gigantic watermelon. And so the other day I was cutting that up, and I gave her a plate of like watermelon slices that was probably like that high,
Yeah.
just stacked with watermelon. She just like ate that up. She loved it.
Just gobbled it up. Yeah.
So.
Which is the most ironic thing, that they say because of this pandemic, trying to limit your exposure in public, one family member going into stores and yada yada yada. But really, with the fruit, you can't stock up on fruit. You want fresh fruit, so you have to make it like a weekly thing, or like even sometimes more than weekly, twice weekly. Like it's
Exactly.
interesting that for example, going through a pandemic while having fruit cravings is another twist to the story.
Yeah, definitely. So so I think we're sorry, go ahead.
And I was just gonna say, and ice cream sandwiches. Ice cream sandwiches is another great. I would say the diet is your bonus diet is consist of fruit and ice cream sandwiches. Just a caveat, you gotta throw it there.
Yeah, that's very true. That the second one hasn't really been much for Laura, but
No.
yeah, definitely the fruit. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this a part one. We're gonna come back for a part two where we'll tackle the sports stuff, just because we're on Zoom and there's a 40-minute time limit. And honestly, I thought the time limit was only if it was more than two people. That's what I thought I read. So I thought we can go as long as we want. But
I'm a Zoom newbie here, so
yeah.
I'm all yours.
Yeah. All right. So we'll, since we're running out of time here, we will put a pause, and we'll come back.
Okay.
And we'll tackle some sports stuff.
Perfect.
So we'll be right back.